guys. No, you're not supposed to start a video. Okay, 15 seconds. Let's start again. Wow. I did it. I started a business. Um, and then I immediately failed. Um, failed a lot. Not usually that fast, but it happened. Um, so I thought I might tell everyone about it. Why not? I guess a little background. I have been in real estate as an agent, licensed since December of 2016. Um, didn't do good enough at the brokerage I was at, so they sent me away. I found another brokerage, and I just wasn't able to get the traction that I thought I would. But then after a few odd jobs, I was able to connect with a big local team and started working as their ISA. I have phone skills, which is good. I guess I could say I was pretty successful at that. I did okay, got 12 deals my first year for the team. And then that actually was a variation of door knocking, phone calls, lots of things. I was able to dedicate time to follow up and to calling the people that I needed to call and building relationships. So I knew I had the money to get by. So I was able to go. I got rid of that fear, so I was able to succeed. Um, and I eventually started finding I had more of a passion towards the systems and tools that went into the database. I started really enjoying managing the database, managing the way we did business and followed up with things, and really trying to optimize what we do. Um, and so after a couple years of really being focused on that while also doing various ISA duties, I decided, you know what, I'm going to make it my own business. So I now consult agents and teams on how to optimize their systems and tools. And um, I took a leap of faith. I got the business going, paid the money to get the LLC, got the domain, got the emails. Google Workspace is my best friend, but it does cost money. And got insurance, errors and emissions as well. Put the consulting agreement together and everything, and then put in my 2 weeks notice because I really wanted to make sure the team I was on um, had a really good foundation to go on and could operate without me being there 8 hours a day, um, or even available after hours if somebody had questions maybe. So I did that, and then started working with one of my clients, and one of the first tasks that they had me do is import about 5,000 contacts into a new database of theirs. And I had a pretty good experience with imports. I really thought that I could do a good job formatting that. It was a pretty simple task, honestly. Just making sure I formatted it correctly, got the information that needed to be in there ahead of time in there, and everything was pretty good except I went to import it, and then as about 23 contacts were imported, I realized, oh no. What had happened was when you in a sheets, I use Google Sheets, but when you pull down, it copies things a lot of the time. So if I wanted to just copy like source or status, I could just say hot, and then I could drag and just copy hot in all 5,000 of those, or inactive or something. So I did that, and that was fine. That did the trick. What happened is I wanted to be extra safe, right? Being extra safe, that's where my issue occurred. Is not only did I include a tag, but in the tag I included the date. And when you drag in a sheet program like that, at least in Google Sheets, it instead of copying that date into everyone, it counts the date or counts the number if there's a number on it. And so I ended up importing 5,000 contacts uh, each with a different tag that I was meant to use for searching all of them easily. And I freaked out. I was losing sleep. I was not. Uh, I was not looking forward to what I was going to have to do to fix this. But I knew I was going to have to, right? Um, and so, uh, while I was losing sleep, I admire the idea of stoicism and pragmatism, and just really, focusing on what you're gonna do about it. So yeah, on one hand, I was stressing out, but in the same hand, well, different hand, honestly, actually, but at the same time, I was still able to think, what am I going to do? What's the easiest thing I could do? So I emailed the support team. Hey, I included my client at the time on the email. Like, hey, I need permission to do, communicate with support for you. That, and also I did make an error on the import, and I need to correct that, hoping they can help me do it as easy as possible. So, while I was waiting for a response back from support, uh, I was thinking, what am I going to do to fix this? And I calculated out if I delete 100 of the tags a day, it'll take me a couple months to fix the problem. And I was like, that's not going to work. I don't want to do this for a couple months. That's My client is going to want to deal with extra tags for multiple months. Man, this is going to be horrendous. I was hoping that they could just undo the import. They can't, unfortunately. They got back to me, but instead of stressing out, luckily, I had already was thinking about a plan of action. So instead of focusing on, oh no, what's wrong? What am I going to do? I had already been thinking about the best courses of actions I could take. So I was able to focus on that instead of, the stress of what what a mess I had caused. Um, the client called me earlier because I'd given them some homework for making sure their database was in order, and they're like, "Yeah, I went to add these tags, and there was a whole bunch of other ones I had to scroll through." I was like, "Yeah, that's the part of the mistake I made." So I'm working on that. I had been working on it already for an hour or so, and actually that was pretty smooth. I was able to get the correct tag onto all, almost 5,000 contacts within a matter of an hour and a half, because I was able to do batches at a time, so that made it a lot easier. And then, I was like, well, I'm gonna look into the tags and see what I can do about deleting these. So since that was pretty simple, and I always I like to break things down to the amount of clicks they take. And for each batch of 50 tags to add, it was about 4 clicks, and that took me an hour and a half. So that was okay. A lot of that was limited by the processing of the data and whatnot. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna see how many I can get done in an hour. When I went to delete the tags, and I about 500, a little more, 500 to 1,000. And I was like, you know what? Actually, that's real easy. Out of 5,000, 10 hours for. So I really just focused on it. It took me 2 clicks each one to delete. I could do both clicks in a second. So I just did the math really, and I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, this is going to take me like 8 hours to clean this up, and then another hour and a half to actually transfer the leads to the appropriate agent. And so I was like, all right, well, let's just keep at it. So I was busy that day, but if I wouldn't have even told them that I made a mistake, they probably wouldn't have even noticed. Other than that one issue where they had a bunch of tags, and it was fine. I lost a couple hours of sleep. I was stressing out. I was not having a good time thinking about what was going on. But I sat down. I did what I could, and it turned out to be fine. Everything is in order. I got a good look in the database and see how things work. Um, and I have a really good idea of my capabilities now. I can do a lot pretty quick. And if there's a lot of work in front of me, I'm not as scared of it now. My relationship with my client is better. My trust in my ability is stronger. And it's a good thing to fail early, right? I hadn't been doing it for years. Um, had a simple mistake like that. So fail as much as you can, learn from it, move on, fail more, optimize your thing. Make sure, do everything you can to get where you need to be, and it's gonna involve failure. And I'm gonna have to remind myself this in a couple days, if not hours, that hey, it's gonna take some work, and you're gonna learn from it, and it's gonna be fine. um, but yeah, so that's the story of how I started a business and immediately failed. I do want to give a special shout out to Sarah Noelle. She was really just she was a whole cheer squad on her own for me, and she'll be that for anybody. Um, Reach out to her. It's at the real underscore estate concierge on Instagram, and I'll share. I'll put a link to her videos in the video below, and she's got some cool networking events that she throws on, and she knows a lot about marketing, a lot about your client avatar, and a lot about being your authentic self. And she was, like I said, a huge support factor for me, and she's really helped give me a lot of courage, and I've been a lot happier, being my authentic self lately. So she's been great, and I recommend you reaching out just to see what kind of relationship you can have with her, and I'm sure you'll all get along. So yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, and uh, look forward to living up to to what you've cheered me up to be. So all right, have a good one, everybody.